Welcome to Tuesday and today's Elko Live here on KELK. We're so pleased to feature our city manager today, Jan Baum. Welcome. We always love sitting across from you.
Thank you, Lori. Yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks to all of our listeners, by the way. We know you take your lunch time and we appreciate, I've heard from just some of you lately who've said, I've been listening to this program a long time. And Jan, they appreciate city shows in particular because there's always so much information. So thank you.
There's so much going on, and we're really glad to share the information and be transparent and have input. And so, yeah, it's a great opportunity to just get the word out.
Well, thank you for taking the opportunity. We'll dive right in because there are some opportunities for the community to help shape the future of our city. But we do want to mention the meetings today begin with the Redevelopment Agency's meeting at 3:30 p.m. There's a pretty big item on this agenda today, Jan.
Yes, there is. So the item on the agenda is the property that we all know of as the Elko Inn. They have gone past their 3 years of not paying property taxes. And so that property is now in the trust of the Elko County. And there is a special NRS out there. I don't know why I said it was special, but it is to us today, I guess. And this NRS, the way it is written is that if it is for a public use, then a public entity can purchase the property for the amount of the taxes owed if it's for a public use. And so we are going to, Kathy Laughlin is going to present to the RDA board this afternoon the possibility of the RDA purchasing the property. And the main public use for the RDA is economic development. And so it just really, it makes sense. And so if the RDA board is in favor of going forward with purchasing this property, then they will notify the Ville 837, who currently is the owner of the property, and if they fulfill or can pay the property tax within 90 days, then this opportunity for the RDA will be no longer, but at least there's an opportunity here, and we'll see if the RDA board is interested.
So it is estimated, Jan, that, and we're talking about, again, the dilapidated right now. It seems rather, it's in disrepair. It's been abandoned, hasn't been used for several years, as we were just describing. It's really sad because it was once just a crown jewel of our small properties, hoteliers, local moteliers on Idaho Street. It's at, I think, 8th and Idaho, known as the Elko Inn, but I believe it was the marquee originally, at least for a lot of people. The estimated cost to take it over would be about $70,000 in delinquent taxes.
Yes, so that's just not a lot of money to be able to buy that property, and I am certain that if the RDA board is in favor of going forward with this, and then it does go through the process and the RDA is able to purchase the property, I am certain that our RDA manager, Kathy Laughlin, and the RDA board can definitely find different ideas on how to promote this for economic development.
That is fantastic. So again, it's just the first step in this process, Jan. The city's been involved with this property now, utilizing a lot of resources, including law enforcement, because it was being used as, it was a haven for crime, obviously a nuisance to nearby property owners, a danger, for example. So it's just part of the process because the property owner will be notified. And if the property owner continues to be derelict in paying those taxes, then the process will continue and in the city's interest. And the city, again, who knows? We'll have Kathy come on. I'm sure we'll have lots of ideas and ways, if it comes to that, to get this property back into the best use.
Absolutely, yes. And we know, Kathy, this is her specialty. She has done so many things for the downtown area and the redevelopment area, and I'm sure she'd have great ideas on how to go forward with promoting this property for economic development. And I'm sure different private owners, if we could get the property and private ownership that wants to take advantage of it. And, it's in the heart of our downtown, and it just looks terrible. And we have gone through, like you said, we've been very involved with this property for 3 years now with the nuisance process and getting the crime out of that building. And so we've come, it sounds terrible, we've come a long ways with it, but it absolutely looks terrible. And I'm very hopeful that we can get something happening with this property.
So the RDA meeting, that's at 3:30 this afternoon. Again, expect, advice from our city attorney, city planner, Kathy Laughlin will be there. And again, it's just the first step in what could be a process, Jan. So,
absolutely.
okay.
And you're right. Dave Stanton, our city attorney, will be there as well to advise.
That's fantastic. So another step in the future, hopefully a better, brighter one for the Elko Inn there at 8th and Idaho Street. I think this got the support of the city behind you and all the other hoteliers who work so hard to maintain their properties. And this has just been a loss. It's a loss of revenue to the city too in a lot of ways. And
it absolutely is. And hoteliers are very important to the city of Elko and to, many entities within the city of Elko that are shared, get a share of the transient lodging tax. And, when the Mine Expo or some of these big events, or the Silver State Stampede that was just here last weekend, when these events come to town, we need places for our patrons to stay. And so it's unfortunate that we're missing those rooms as well.
Yeah, that would be great, to see what could happen in the future, because not everybody likes a franchise hotel. Some people like the little boutique hotels. They're
right.
Charming. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it was charming. It was just really nice and well built, and it's just really unfortunate.
Yep. Hopefully there's a future ahead. That is yet to be seen. So the RDA is also going to likely accept a budget, and it's pretty healthy, right, Jan?
Yes. So the ad valorem tax, which is property tax that has been collected in the last couple of years, has really been much more than we had anticipated, and which is great news. And so this is enabling us to do the sidewalk project that's going on downtown, and that started last Monday. I know it'll be painful as we go through it, and they are really they're really digging up the sidewalks there between 4th and 5th on Railroad, and but in the end it'll be beautiful down there, and it's just another project that the redevelopment area or association is able to do, and that project is going to cost us about $2.5 million, and they have the cash to do it. So it'll be great.
So that is continuing, and we'll be providing updates, obviously, Jan, when things change. This first phase of the project is expected to last now at least 2, maybe 3 more weeks, right?
Absolutely,
okay.
Yes. And the whole project, I believe, will last into the fall.
Yeah, I
It's
popped down
gonna go
there.
on all summer.
It'll be going on. But honestly, popping down there and seeing people navigate, I didn't see a lot of people really uncomfortable. They just, it's well laid out. I mean, where you can walk. Crews were busy, but plenty of orange cones. A lot of safety, and it just seems like people are well aware of, especially starting with that stretch of sidewalk, why it was so necessary.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So it was unsafe, right? And that big drop-off that they had there at the corner of 4th and Railroad. And so it'll be nice to have that all flattened out and look a lot nicer. And I think MKD is doing a good job at putting in signage, and we've been really trying to get the word out on how the parking in the corridor. Please feel free, take commercial. You can go in one lane and out the other, and continue to park there. And so it will be painful. I mean, that's
No getting around it.
There's no getting around it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it,
No.
but it'll be painful, but it will really pay off in the end.
And speaking of paying off, is that the accurate balance to date, even with the sidewalk project? That's pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah, that's at $3.6 million. So that just means more to do. The storefront grant improvement project, as well as infrastructure grant program, those are all, there's money in here for paving the Stockman's parking lot, which has long been a request of the community. So those things are already approved.
Absolutely. And I think the overall budget for that fund, just because I was looking at it the other day, had an ending fund balance of about $1 million, which will take us into next year in pretty good shape. And so I believe that $3.6 million is probably right now. And then if you take the $2.5 million away, then you'll come up with about $1 million. But yeah, so they can continue to do great things for our downtown area.
And that is a general improvement district. So those taxes go back into circulation to improve the community. And then the property owners, they get to apply for matching grants to improve their storefronts and some infrastructure to, for example, updating facilities so that they're handicap accessible and so on.
Absolutely. And the RDA will pay up to half on that. In the two different grants, I believe one is $50,000, the other $75,000. But anyway, yeah, they have some great programs and some great projects.
Talking with Jan Baum, our Elko city manager. This in advance of today's regular city council meeting. The council meeting's at 4. The RDA meeting, in which we were just talking about, that starts at 3:30. And again, that's a pretty fun agenda too, I have to say. And this is a good time, I think, before we get into regular agenda items for the council meeting, Jan, to really promote the strategic meetings that begin this week, Thursday night at City Hall. Because it's fair to say that Elko's going into the budget cycle with a flat but healthy budget. There's money in reserve. Obviously, things you're keeping an eye on. There are projects that really do please people that they're looking forward to, the amenities. But there may be also other things that people that may be new to the community or have lived here for some time, they're seeing changes. They want to have some input, right?
Absolutely. And so, yes, we're working on our 5-year strategic plan for the city of Elko, and we're working on that with UNR. And so we have a flyer out right now that has the big N from UNR. So that's why it looks like it's UNR. But anyway, they are helping us with our 5-year strategic plan, and we're to the spot, the place within our within this process where we need more input from the community. And these are in-person meetings, specifically by design, because there's a lot more input you get when people are participating in person. And so those meetings, the first one, like you said, is in City Hall and Chambers from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. on Thursday, June 26th. And then there are 3 more meetings, one on Friday evening from 6:30 to 8:30 at the Elko Convention Center. And then Saturday there are 2, one from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and one from 4 to 6 p.m. And both of those are at the Convention Center as well. And so these meetings will not have city leaders at them. And so there will not be elected officials and there will not be a city leadership team at these meetings, because they want public input without any pressures, without anybody feeling that they need to say something to make somebody happy or whatever. And so we just want honest feedback. And so anyway, so we would be happy if people could attend and give their input on where the city will go for the next 5 years.
Is it important to RSVP, Jan?
You know what? There is an RSVP on the flyer, and we have posted this on our website, and it's also on all of our social media sites, the police department, the fire department, the rec department, and the city of Elko. We have all of those Facebook pages, and we've shared it on all of them. But if you do not RSVP, you can still just show up. It'll be just fine.
All right. And again, this is unique in that there won't be either elected officials and there won't be any city staff. So it's just between the public, the community, people who have some vision, ideas, maybe even some concerns, but you have the freedom to express those in this environment that does not have city staff nor elected officials. So it's just to simply gather some opinion, input, some ideas of what could be achieved in the next 5 years.
Absolutely.
All right.
And help give direction to the city of Elko. So input is, everybody has different great ideas, or they've seen something in a different community they go to. I do that all the time. I go to different communities and say, oh, why don't we do that, or whatever. So we'd love to have that input.
All right. That's the first in a series of strategic meetings this coming Thursday, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at City Hall. And if you pop in or you RSVP, but either way, you only have to go to one in the series of 4. You don't need to attend all 4. And if you maybe pop in one meeting and you say, oh, these aren't the folks I'm looking to, you want to be comfortable in who you're talking about these things with. So you can try the next meeting, right? Or
Absolutely.
I'm sure you can always submit written comments too if you prefer to do that.
Yes, absolutely. And actually, we had an online survey that we had out for months, actually, and that has closed. That was our very first step of this process. But yes, I'm sure if you have some comments, you can send those to myself, or I can give you Fred Steinman's email address.
All right, Jan, thanks for the update there. Again, this is important. It's this week only, so don't let the opportunity pass you by if you are interested in that. So then on the agenda today, there are 5 vacancies on the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, although some of the current members may indicate that they'd like to continue serving.
Absolutely, they may if they would like. And yes, so a current member that is expiring, they can submit a letter of interest and be reappointed. And I was asked earlier why so many, and I believe that this was primarily caused because of the COVID timeline. A lot of our advisory committees didn't exist for a couple of years, and then
I think airport was one of them.
Airport was one of them.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. And then we got all of the members at one time, and then throughout the years it'll get to where it's not all at once, but that's why there's so many.
They'll be staggering those appointments again. And you are appointed by the City Council. You do just submit a simple paragraph or so about why you want to serve. It's pretty simple. Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. Now, is this one of the boards, Jan, that you don't have to be a city resident to sit on?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
You may live out in the county.
All right, because these are amenities that are used by everyone, certainly visitors alike. And again, there are 5 board positions on the City Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. And this board's important. I mean, you think about how much fun it would be, but at the same time, there are significant resources to be allocated. And our Parks and Rec Director, James Wiley, depends on this board.
Absolutely. So to give him direction on what big projects the community is, what they're prioritizing. And you're right. So this comes from the transient lodging tax, which we were just talking about a minute ago. And there is quite a bit of money there that, so what they usually do for that fund is they'll accumulate some money, and then based on priorities, we'll do a couple big projects. And the project in our upcoming fiscal year is the pickleball courts, and that's about $1.2 million. And so, and we're going to be resurfacing a couple other courts as well. But anyway, there's some big projects, and we just finished the sports complex. That was another big project. And so, yeah, it'll be, they give great input.
Yes, it's important to have that. And again, 5 members. You don't have to have any particular experience or be, an advocate for any sport. Maybe you're a parent, maybe you're a single person, maybe you're new to Elko. Just generally, it really makes for a better board to have a diversity of people. So that'll be on the agenda. And then once the authorization's been given, then there'll be an advertisement go out, and then people can start writing letters, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
And we'll have that on our website. And yes, absolutely.
Perfect. And we'll mention there is one big project that's coming up that's super exciting that has been in the works for a while, but wanted to move on with the regular agenda. The presentation will be a renewal proposal from Nevada Public Agency Insurance Pool. And this was talked about during the budget cycle, Jan, because it is quite an expenditure. And so the council's been asked to give this some separate consideration on some options.
Absolutely. So this is our property tax, or not property tax, I'm so sorry,
No, you're
property
fine.
insurance.
Uh-huh.
Yes, it's a major expenditure for the city of Elko. And so the pool is, like you said, it's a public agency insurance pool, and there are several public agencies that are members of this pool, and it's a great option for the city of Elko. It saves us quite a bit of money. A couple of years ago, we went out to bid on this, and it's a substantial savings, even though the rates, even though it's a big expenditure for the city of Elko. And so there are a few different options there for the council to consider, I guess I should say. And one is a current deductible of $5,000. The next one is a deductible of $10,000 and then $25,000. And our insurance agent, who is Dane Uriarty with LP Insurance, he's done us an analysis of there are different prices for the different levels of deductibles, but then he puts it in a spreadsheet with our actual claims that we have, and then he gives us that real savings. And it usually isn't as much as the premium says, but definitely council can take a look at that and give us direction.
All right. So the cost of the insurance is right around $1 million, fair to say. Could be $878,000 or upwards of just over $1 million, depending on which option the council decides on.
Yes, and if you
Okay.
think about it, the city of Elko has a lot of properties, a lot of equipment that we are insuring.
A lot of liability, and that's what this covers. So
Absolutely.
yeah. And you're in the middle of the water modernization plan. I mean, what if you detected a huge leak somewhere?
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
hopefully would cover something like that. So that's on the agenda today. And then we wanted to mention under appropriation, this will likely be tabled. As you explained, you're waiting for some more documentation, but you did mention the sports complex phase 1. The final acceptance was on the agenda, but you need some more paperwork on this one.
Yes, exactly. There's some paperwork from the contractor that has to come in before the city council can declare a final completion, and we haven't received all of that yet, which is nothing negative to the contractor. We just haven't gotten it yet, and so we'll likely ask the city council not to take any action on that yet.
All right, Jan Baum is our city manager, talking about what's on the agenda in time for today's 4 o'clock meeting. But this is exciting. There the final acceptance for a couple of ARPA projects.
Yes.
Getting them
this
wrapped
is
up.
So exciting, yes. So the ARPA projects needed to be completely spent by December 31st, 2026, and we're well ahead of schedule, which is wonderful. And so the Elkhart Boulevard Connector Road and Water Line Extension was our largest ARPA project of nearly $10 million. And Dale Johnson, who is now our assistant city manager, managed that project along with most of the ARPA water line projects. And so we're just really excited to have this project come to completion, and the water line is running and it's working, and then along with that water line, it got us probably about 2/3 of the way to the Elkhart Bridge with a road, and so that'll be something that we continue to try to finish in the future.
That's exciting. More to come on that one as well. We could skip ahead. I mean, sorry, I've got my tickle in my throat again. We do have the North Effluent Storage Reservoir Embankment repair, and that was more of an emergency item, but it came in under budget, which is always good, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and that's at the WRF. And it's an important property.
Yeah.
Very
you
important
contain
property.
that.
And so we need to make sure that we're always, that the reservoir embankments are stable and in good working order. And so I think this was, it was a good project.
Came in under budget at $549,521 and change. And the good news is that the city has, you have created a program where we have money in reserve paid for by water and sewer fees. So you can continue to maintain and upgrade without increasing the fees or going out to bond.
Absolutely, yes. And projects out at the WRF and at the water facility are expensive.
Mm-hmm. Notoriously so. And I think poor Winnemucca is going through a situation. One of their pumps went out at a well in Winnemucca. And so they're scrambling. They're on water conservation right now until they get all the parts and get it fixed. And
absolutely. And this time of year, especially moving into July, the city of Elko is probably similar. In the winter, we run a few wells and everything, just kind of works. And then you get to summer and all 17 of our wells are running 24/7. And when you have a well that's down, it's a worry. It's worrisome.
Yeah. So do your part, water conservation, and remember that there are days when you can irrigate your lawn. And that means even if you're on an automated sprinkler system, they have to be set to those days.
Absolutely, yes. So the water conservation rules are in place right now, and I don't have them written down specifically, but depending on if you're an odd address or an even address, that you water on certain days of the week. It's kind of every other day, and we really encourage people to comply with that regulation.
Thanks for the reminder, Jan. Mm-hmm. A couple of other bigger items. I know I don't want to take too much time because I know you've got to get back and be prepared for your meeting that starts 3:30's RDA, 4 o'clock regular council. But also on the agenda today under unfinished business, wow, I forgot all about this, but this is something that's been in the work for decades, and that's acquiring some Union Pacific property.
Absolutely. So it's actually about 78, a little over 78 acres in the middle of our city. We call them Area A and Area B, and on the agenda packet there is a map that shows where these areas are. And a lot of this property is being used. The property is being leased from Union Pacific to different vendors or businesses. And so their businesses sit on Union Pacific property or their right-of-way. And so we've been talking. So in 2021, a purchase and sale agreement was agreed upon between the City of Elko and Union Pacific. And so since that time, we've been talking about pricing and negotiating a price. And so one of the first items on that purchase and sale agreement that needs to be completed or approved prior to closing is the agreement of the purchase price. And so we've been talking to the real estate division at the Union Pacific, and so we are going to council with a proposed amount for this right-of-way of $7.5 million, up to $7.5 million, and so we will see what the city council, how they advise us.
So and this is to be continued, obviously, because $7.5 million is a lot of money. But again, as Jan Baum explained, this near 40, as she said, there's a total of 78 acres. I think it's about 48 or so downtown in the vicinity of West Main near the post office. If you've ever driven those streets and said, why in the world are they just chucked with potholes and nothing is done? Well, it's because the city doesn't own that property and the property owners don't own that property either. So the city's goal, and this is from what I understand over the years working on this is that the city wants to acquire the property from Union Pacific. They don't want to have the property necessarily. And then the city can sell it because the city doesn't want to necessarily own that property either.
Absolutely. And so, and like you said, there's a lot of blight in that on that property, and the roads aren't maintained because the city doesn't own them, and so there's a couple different things that can be done to eliminate or at least minimize some of the blight. Is one, hopefully we can maintain and fix the roads or finish the roads. And then you're right, the second big portion of that would be to transfer that property into private hands. So currently it is a right-of-way that the Union Pacific owns, but the ownership of the property is actually with the federal government. And so there's no property tax that is received from the county or the city on any of that property. And so our hope would be to sell this property to private entities, and especially these companies that have buildings on the property already, and so then they can own all the land. So a lot of these companies own just the building on top of the land, so they're
and they might have
handcuffed
quiet title, but I don't even know if quiet title applies to federal property.
Yeah,
See,
I don't think it does. But
and then so they can't really invest, and they can't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they can't easily transfer property. I mean, I'm thinking the beautiful block distributing. That's a hallmark business. Wouldn't it be great to see it, be more independent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, and then the new Epiroc building that was just finished, that's sitting on UP property. And, there's just a lot of different businesses down there that are on UP property. And so they would definitely welcome owning that property.
Yeah, they would welcome it. So it's not something that's being imposed on the property owners because they really have their hands tied. As Jan was saying, many times they own or simply rent the buildings, and there's a lot of work that could be done because that's a historic section of Elko and it could be celebrated. So
exactly, and it's so close. Well, some of it is within the RDA area, but a lot of it is just very close to the RDA area, and so we're doing all of this beautiful, beautification, and then
Blight.
2 blocks away we have all this blight.
Yeah,
and so we're working towards it, and it could take, I'm not sure how long it would take to get the title of the land from the federal government, because that would be a federal lands bill with congressional, we need a congressional bill, but this is a good first step.
Yep, good first step of many first steps. Oh, before I forget, is Area B, is that Manzanita perchance?
Yes.
Oh,
so
that's also important.
Absolutely. If we could get that property, then it would be very important and a priority for the city to connect Manzanita to Silver Street.
Yeah, another arterial road. That would be fantastic. Okay, well, super excited about this. More to come. Again, there'll be some figures discussed. $7.5 million is a lot of money, but I'm sure the city has a plan on how to turn that around quickly. There might be some negotiating yet to do, but exciting. And then, again, there's more stuff, and I've got to get you to the meeting, but I did want to mention that Nevada Department of Wildlife's proposal, they've received federal grant funding to develop the community fishing park in the pond complex, and now the city gets to step in as a partner.
Yes, absolutely. And there have been a lot of meetings between the city and the Nevada Department of Wildlife. And, I think this is a good first step of going forward with that community pond. And what a great opportunity for people to be able to, within the city, go down and go fishing or, whatever they want to do there, taking advantage of some outdoor activity within the city of Elko. And so, this is a great first step.
Another first step, another round of things to look forward to. There'll be a public hearing at 5:30. This will be the second reading of an ordinance to amend the city code managing municipal waste at the Elko City landfill, because I understand we have the city of Elko has a franchise agreement with Elko Sanitation, but there's some new county businesses that have been popping up and they want to dispose of waste in the landfill.
Absolutely. There are two different new companies that have popped up within the county, which is great. We always welcome competition. But we do have a franchise agreement with Elko Sanitation for the city of Elko within the city limits. And so this code, along with the code enforcement code, gives us some, different avenues to enforce different regulation.
Yeah, it just makes for an even playing field for everybody at the landfill as well. And it's clear what the rules will be. So the last thing is adding to the enforcement code. This one's big too. It's like 24 pages, but it's setting the professional boundaries for code enforcement, which I think a lot of people in the community have been asking for this, Jan, because
absolutely,
things are sliding a bit.
Yes, exactly. And so we do have currently a code enforcement officer, Ramon. He does a really great job. He's very professional, and he's helping a lot of different entities help clean up their properties. And so this code names a code enforcement officer and then gives some parameters on how to enforce the code. And so I think this is really needed within the city. The city of Elko, we're primarily reactive on code enforcement because we don't really have the resources to have several code enforcement officers. So we react to complaints or people putting in different requests to code enforcement. And so if you ever have a complaint, or you would want the code enforcement officer to look at some property next to you or around you or whatever, please feel free to get a hold of Ramon. You can get a hold of him there if you go to the elkocity.com and go to departments and code enforcement. You can put in a request right there.
Jan, thank you so much. Mm-hmm. The Elko RDA meets at 3:30, and then the regular council meeting starts at 4 o'clock today.
Absolutely, and I just want to mention one more thing.
Please do.
All day Thursday, we are having I'm on code enforcement, a building code class put on by Chris Kimball. And it is all day in Elko City Chambers, and he's going to be educating on the 2024 building code and some proposed changes.
So it's important to be there through all day, right? And not just drop in. I mean,
I think if you want to listen to the updates in the code, and these aren't codes that have been changed yet as far as the city of Elko. After this planning session and after this education, then the building department will likely come to council with some proposed changes.
All right. And it's important to know that the city and the county have been talking about this together, because I think that was mentioned before. It's important.
Oh, good. Yes, absolutely. It's good if we're both on the same code for all builders within our community. I think it just simplifies.
Yeah, it helps. Mm-hmm. Well, Jan, thanks again. Again, anyone who wants to go to that meeting, 3:30 for RDA, 4 o'clock for the council, you can visit in person, City Hall, or watch online, elkocity.com. Thanks, listeners. We ran over, but we had a lot to talk about today, Jan. Thank you. No, I'm happy we can host you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.